Assure you that all of these are 100% real. They are not made up. It's not a figment of my imagination. These things literally happen to me as well as others. Welcome back to All Things Conspiracy, a place where we talk about all things paranormal, true crime, mystery, and, of course, conspiracies. But I just want you to know that these truly are real. They still scare me when I think about them. At that time, it was absolutely terrifying. These stories that I'm about to talk about are more recent and have to do with my college experience. It all began at the good old University of Toledo in Ohio. Go Rockets! I went to college as a freshman in 2015. I moved in around sometime in August, and I met my roommates. I actually had 3 roommates. It was a good time. We all kind of got along in the very beginning, which in the end, we did not get along, but that is your typical roommate story. But one of my roommates and I, her name is Jill, we became best friends, and we still are best friends to this day. She was a bridesmaid in my wedding. I love her to death. She is actually the roommate that I kept in touch with, and the roommate that I experienced these paranormal activities with. Now, I can't remember the first exact time, date, or even where the first paranormal experience happened. I don't know if it was Jill. I don't know if it was me. Now, as you may know, ghosts and spirits and demons feed off of negative energy. So I'd like to believe that the paranormal experiences started a little bit later in my freshman year. This is because things were great the first couple months at college. You're in that honeymoon phase. You're excited. You're going out. You're going to parties. I went through recruitment. I joined a sorority. I met new friends. It was a good time. However, as some people may know, college is obviously a very stressful time. And so with stress comes drama, which comes negative energy. As I told you, my roommates and I got along in the very beginning. However, we started to not get along, I would say, mid-semester of the first year. So probably sometime around November. My roommate Jill and I, we were actual suite mates, so we shared a bedroom. So her and I were pretty tight. We liked each other a lot. We got along and things were good. However, for my other 2 roommates, it wasn't the same story. One of my roommates had a boyfriend who she actually is getting married to now. They would be together all the time. She would never be at the dorm because she lived very close to the university and would go home literally every weekend. So we literally never saw her. My other roommate hated college. She wanted to go off and join the military, which she had expressed she was going to do. And there was just a lot of drama between her and Jill and I. So with this drama, obviously came negative energy. We were all stressed. It was our first semester of college. We were still getting used to things. It was crazy. I wasn't in the best mental state. I can say that freshman, sophomore, and even some of junior year and senior year, my mental health was not good at all. So a lot of negative energy was there, and of course we ended up getting a ghost. Now it's funny because I actually found this out a year later that the dorm that I lived in was actually haunted. One of my sorority sisters and I were downstairs in the basement one day a year later, and I was telling her about my paranormal experiences, and she was an RA and told me like, oh my god, the 4th floor of that place is haunted because so-and-so died and so-and-so did this and all of this stuff, and I was like, oh well, that makes absolute sense. It was kind of comforting to know that it wasn't just me who experienced these things though, because I really thought that it was just a figment of my imagination. So anyway, fast forward to around Christmas time. This is the first time that I specifically remember some sort of spirit being with Jill and I in the dorm. Jill and I are obsessed with Christmas. It's our favorite holiday. Her and I went absolutely ham during Christmas. We started decorating. We were excited. She brought ornaments back from her house and we were decorating with a tree and all the good stuff. Well, we ended up having extra ornaments, and being the dumb college students that we were like, oh, let's try to hang these up on the wall with string and tape. The wall was painted brick. Basically, we were stupid. We hung up all the ornaments. It was cute, and then about an hour later, they all fell, and they cracked, and they broke, and we were super disappointed, but it was okay, because they were cheap ornaments. They were Jill's. She brought them back from home, and we moved on. We cleaned it up, and we were done. However, as you may know, it's around Christmas time, so it's snowing, it's raining, it's gross outside. I go to grab my boots, as I would, right? Toledo, Ohio is a very windy place, and it's cold, so I went ahead and I grabbed my boots, I was putting them on, and all of a sudden, I look down, and the ornament glass is in my shoe. And let me just put some backstory on this. My boots were in my room, and the ornaments that we had hung up that broke were in the main area room. My boots were nowhere near the broken glass. So being the reasonable, smart person that I am, I obviously text Jill and I'm like, are you playing a prank on me? And Jill is the sweetest, cutest little person you will ever meet in your life. So I started to think about it. I was like, why would Jill prank me by putting glass in my shoe? Like, that's not a prank. That is like effed up. And the reason I told you about my roommates before is because this gives a backstory of my other two roommates were never there. And so literally it was just Jill and I. So I was like, why would Jill do this? Well, anyway, Jill texts me back and she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I would never do that to you, all of this stuff. And so I sat there and I started to think about it and I was like, oh my God, there's a ghost. There's totally a ghost here. Now, like I had said before, I don't know the exact time to when I started to experience these things, but I will say that there were some weird things happening before this glass in my shoe incident happened, which is why I thought, okay, there's a ghost in here. I know it's a ghost because Jill and I have been joking about it for a little bit. So ultimately, I knew it wasn't Jill. I knew nobody had been in our apartment, and I knew that nobody even knew that we had broken the ornaments. So it was just Jill and Jill wouldn't do that. I got really scared and kind of just moved on, forgot about it. Well, then random little things happened. One time Jill and I were watching a movie together like we always did. My roommate's room, obviously nobody was really living in there because my roommate at the time had moved to join military school and the other roommate was back home with her boyfriend. In the corner of my eye, I see something go into the roommate's room and I look over and all of a sudden something falls from the trash can. I immediately jumped up. I started screaming. I was like, Jill, there's something in here. There's something that's gonna get us. There's a ghost. It's here. Oh my God. So her and I absolutely start freaking out. You know, we're just like, what the heck is going on? This is crazy. Yeah, it was so weird. But the one experience that really got me happened at springtime. Now, some people have said they don't believe me with this, which I understand. I don't even know how it happened either because it's just so weird. Anyway, it's springtime. I love to do spring cleaning, and so I'm at my desk in my room and I'm moving some stuff. All of a sudden, I see that there's writing on my wall. And I was like, what the hell is this? So I moved this picture frame that I had on my desk and the writing was behind like all of these things on my desk, so I could have never seen it before. So basically I had no idea how long this writing had been there for, and I literally could not even read what it said. As I told you before, our walls were like painted brick, and so the writing, I couldn't really read it because it was all bumpy and weird, and I was like, what the hell is this? I tried to decipher it. What I found from it is that it talked about a story of love, sadness, and trying to move on. So my first response is to text my boyfriend, who is my now husband. Are you trying to break up with me or something? Why did you write this weird shit on my wall? And the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, he would not do that. That is so stupid. Why would he even do that? So obviously he texts back and he's all confused and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty stupid. So then I let Jill know and I got her to come in and she was like, what the hell? And we were both so freaked out. At first I thought maybe somebody had come in, like an RA or something, and like wrote on my wall to be super creepy, but that just, none of it made sense because our RA, like I didn't even know the guy. He literally never came into our room. I think he ended up getting fired. So anyway, I tried to decipher it, and I had note cards that had some stuff on it. And like I said, basically it was just talking about like a love story and how they were sad that the person moved on and that they would always love them. And it was so weird. I never got closure for it, and Jill and I were like, we should go back, because I never erased it because I didn't even want to touch it. And so Jill and I wanted to go back to the dorm the next year and see who was living there to see if they had seen it. But now that I'm thinking about it, that probably wouldn't have even worked anyway, because they would have had to go through and repainted everything. So whoever ended up finding that writing probably thought that I was an extreme weirdo and wrote on my wall for no reason. Now, those stories are minute to the stories that I experienced sophomore year of college.